54%, I'll round up, 54% of people said yes, they would stick with OnlyFans if they lost 10%. But 46% of people said no. Now, to me, that's not a good sign. If you run a business and your staff, you came to and told your staff, hey, we're going to cut you by 10%. If half of your staff was willing to leave over that, it would show that you have not done enough to maintain positivity in your workforce. And, there's no doubt that basically the workforce of OnlyFans is the content creators. The content creators are giving their all. And the question is always, is OnlyFans giving their all back? And for anyone who goes around the community or reads different things, if you've ever been on our OnlyFans advice on Reddit, definitely people have their issues with OnlyFans. And the things that I have talked about in previous episodes, about leaked content and stolen content and just some of the, doors that are left wide open out there that could definitely be closed, or at least OnlyFans could say, hey, we're putting effort forth to close these doors. Most of the changes that in the last terms of service for OnlyFans was more looking out for OnlyFans themselves, them looking out for content creators, covering their own butts, so to speak, when it came to copyright and legalities and a lot of other things. So the way that you can look at it is that usually a company will treat you the best it's going to treat you in the very beginning, because they want to basically get you to use their product. A lot of times you'll buy something at the grocery store and it'll taste amazing when it first comes out. And then once it becomes popular, they start using cheaper ingredients slowly but surely. And you're like, this doesn't taste like it used to, but I'm still going to buy it because I like this product now. And a lot of companies do that. Things start out big and then they get smaller and smaller for the same price or even an increase in price. So what we had from the beginning with OnlyFans might be the best that OnlyFans feels that it will need to treat content creators. And the fact that they are growing so big and so fast, if they did come back out with something like a 5%, and probably it would be 5%, it would be 10%. If they just said, hey, we're going to do 75% now. I mean, how many people are really going to end up leaving the site? And they can do the math on that. And in this regard, there's 46% of people are saying that they wouldn't, stick with the site, that they would move along. But, basically another competitor would have to emerge for that to be realistic. So the next question, I spend the most time promoting my OnlyFans on, and I gave 4 options, which were Reddit, Twitter, Instagram, and other. Now, obviously, this survey was done on Twitter, so that's going to skew it a little bit, like when they asked what was the best movie of all time, and this was done through Empire magazine, and it came out with Empire Strikes Back. That's what was voted the best. And when Rolling Stone magazine asked, what the best song of all time was, they got I Can't Get No Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones. These coincidental, right? So whenever, you're putting any sort of thing in someone's mind, you're going to get skewed results. So obviously Twitter won here at 68%. Reddit had 16%. Instagram had about 9%. And other had about 7%. Now, what is most interesting about this, and I've definitely stated before that I feel Twitter is the place for promotion for OnlyFans. Some people have, frustrations with it, but it is one of the only platforms that really allows you to grow and maintain communication with your fans at the same time. Less where it's Instagram where you have to kind of have fame and then you can grow people from the fame that you already had. But Twitter can actually help you gain fame and then move it along to other platforms. But what's interesting here is the other answer. I was hoping that more people would say, other, I'm on, Discord, I'm on Telegram, I'm on some of these new emerging, platforms. And that's not what I got. So I definitely was surprised by that. I also thought I would get less people than 8 or 9% saying that they were still using Instagram. Now, because as we all know, Instagram is very they're unfriendly to OnlyFans links. They're unfriendly to OnlyFans hashtags, to any kind of picture that might possibly be seen as risque. So it's interesting to me that people are still taking the time to promote on OnlyFans. It doesn't necessarily say that they're getting results, but they're taking the time still to promote on that. And I was hoping that the other category, would be higher. Some people would say, I'm doing it on Facebook. There's just so many different places that you actually can promote your OnlyFans. I do feel, that this is correct. It's Twitter and Reddit, and yes, just some instances, Instagram, but I was hoping for more on other. But it's also very telling and about where people are, promoting themselves. And 141 people participated in that question. Okay, so the next question is, what amount do you typically make each month on OnlyFans? Okay, so the options were $100 or less, $500 or less, $750 or less, or $1,000 or more. Okay, so this is an interesting question. What one was at 55.5%, $100 or less. So people are making a lot. What I would say that the majority of people are making not as much money. Now, I will say this. Usually people who are participating on Twitter are more likely to be new. As far as, they're really engaged with Twitter, so they're seeing every tweet that goes out. As you get more established, you end up, not having to participate as much, as I mentioned, about, building up your following and then being able to go and do other things earlier in the podcast. So generally saying that, 55%, that doesn't necessarily mean that all people are, going to come on, and make less than $100 in a month. What's interesting here is that you have 16% of people who stated they make $1,000 or more. Very similar to the amount of people who said they spend 10 or more hours. Very close percentages there. So I would say for those people who are spending 10 or more hours, they are likely the people who are making the $1,000 or more. And again, I'm just, speculating on that from those two numbers being very, very similar. If you take $500 or less, so if you were to take $500 or less and $100 or less, you would get a high percentage. You would get about 80% of people. So as with all things, and I'm sure I've brought up the 80-20 principle before, in almost every single organization, you have a certain percentage of people that just excel and they make a lot more money than everyone else. And, for each person sitting in that $100 or less, right now, 20% of those people are going to emerge out of that $100 or less and start making $1,000 or more likely in, a couple months or by putting a lot of effort in. And a good percentage of those people are going to just move on to something else. And how that reflects on OnlyFans, I would say that you always need new blood, new people coming into any business, any website, and that will keep the promotion going. People continuing to jump onto OnlyFans, even for established creators, is a net benefit. And the reason it's a net benefit is because they will go out and do a lot of free advertising for OnlyFans. And then people who might not have heard of OnlyFans might come check out their page, and then they've signed up to OnlyFans, and now they have the opportunity to sign up to your page where they might not have, and you can't possibly reach every single person. And that's one of the main reasons why OnlyFans has grown so fast, is because each person is putting out their feelers to a whole new group of people and trying to get them to come onto the page because it benefits them, because they'll make the 80%. And then OnlyFans just sits back and lets that happen. They're not paying any actual money to make that happen. So basically they're making the money from you promoting yourself, but also when you stop promoting yourself, the people they gained from you will still be on OnlyFans. They'll still be people who have signed up to OnlyFans. So that's why OnlyFans pays that high percentage. Now, the one risk is that when you hit the wall, as a business, it means basically that all those people have gone out and brought back all of their subscribers. And at a point, you no longer have the breakout growth. You don't necessarily need those people to go out because almost everyone's heard of OnlyFans, or almost everyone who was going to join OnlyFans has joined OnlyFans. So it's diminishing returns. That's when the fear comes in that OnlyFans will decrease the commissions. Because for OnlyFans, they want to just keep going as long as they continue to grow fast. If growth slows, they won't need that. So they can say, okay, well, that 10 or 20 extra percentage we were giving because it was all free marketing, we're going to pull that back. And I'm not saying they're going to do that, but in most likelihood, that's what ends up happening in these kind of systems. So, learning how much people are making and all of this is important. But do know that when you're marketing yourself, you're also marketing OnlyFans. When you're creating a link out in the world, on a page somewhere, it's a link that goes back to OnlyFans, which helps OnlyFans rank better in search engines. It helps OnlyFans rank better everywhere. It helps get the word out about them. So definitely keep that in mind. Okay, so next question. If another similar platform / site offered creators 90%, would you leave OnlyFans? Now, I asked this question, and people are usually suspicious of questions like this because they assume you're trying to sell them some new platform. And I had to retweet this one twice to get as much participation as I wanted. And the results were, they said yes, 76.6%, no, 23.4%, and 137 people participated. Now, this is another wow kind of result, because again, this is just another shift of 10%. So you have a brand new site, maybe you've never heard of in your entire life, that's going to come along and say, we're going to give you 90%. Now, the big thing here, and I've gone over in other podcasts episodes just randomly, so you might not have heard this before, but the difficulty is not that OnlyFans might not necessarily wanted to give you even a higher percent. OnlyFans is likely giving the highest percent that it can handle because of the cost of credit card processing for high risk material. So what OnlyFans dabbles in under that 90% of people who are posting 18 plus material is considered high risk. So these credit card processors charge anywhere, from 15%, down 10%. Say OnlyFans right now is getting a special sweet rate because of volume. Maybe they're getting 8-9%, something like that. So any new company that comes along, they're going to be hit with that 14-15%. They may be able to get it down to 11%, but they're really not going to be able to come in and offer 90%. From the beginning, unless someone's just looking to lose money. So if somebody with big pockets, comes in, if Elon Musk just decides, he wants to give his girlfriend, or he even wants to do it himself and say, hey, start your own version of OnlyFans. Here's $1 billion. Even they would be at a loss because, unless they were able to work some sort of, I guess he could create his own, at that point, he could create his own credit card processing company and process his own, and he wouldn't have to worry about it. But the unlikelihood of that is pretty high. Most people who are going to come in trying to start something are going to hit those walls. So OnlyFans knows that. So it's very unlikely that someone would be able to come around to be able to offer the same sort of protections. So what's likely to happen here long term is this OnlyFans is going to decrease the